25 years ACA's been around. We're looking at the guy who's been around for 25 years with ACA. Matt, this is really the ultimate show that you guys have ever put on. What are your impressions so far from what we've seen?
Just thank you, Ken. Thank you for being part of this, but just absolutely blown away. Absolutely blown away. We have had such terrific speakers, 2 chairmen of committees. We had a cabinet secretary this afternoon, 3 FCC commissioners, including the chairman. Great panels. Largest summit ever, close to 400 people. We're just so absolutely thrilled and blessed for a great event here at Summit 25. It is our 25th anniversary. It's my 25th year with the association, as my gray hair shows, but this is really a celebration for our members and all of their hard work in Washington for the last quarter century.
Well, and it really was appropriate last night. They had some of the folks who were at the table 25 years ago that it really caused the formation of this.
Yeah, it is so true to have a guy like Dave Kinley, who was our first chairman, Stan Searle, who was literally one of the founders, who put together the very first meeting that ultimately created our association, and to take some time to look back and to really see, what a task that was to build this organization when you had nothing going for you other than an idea to go tell your story because you could tell it better than anybody else. And basically the association has been built on that notion that no one in Washington understands the issues of smaller businesses in cable, phone, and broadband than ourselves, and we can tell that story better than anybody.
Well, and I really liked what Representative Tozin said about America. We're Americans first, right?
Well, and that is an important point. Billy Tozin was chairman of the primary subcommittee that passed the 1992 Cable Act, which actually re-regulated our industry, specifically harmed smaller operators, and really created the impetus for us to develop this voice. But I can remember working with him back then and with so many other members of Congress that things were not partisan. These issues were not Republican or Democratic. They were about what is the best policy. And lawmakers worked together to develop policies, even if they were on differing sides. But we don't see that now. And in fact, from an American Cable Association perspective, we're all about bringing people together. Our logo is basically red on the right and blue on the left, purposely with an open star in the middle to say, we'll work with anybody, we'll talk with anybody. We want to find solutions. So to have Billy Tozin, who's such a good friend, really refer to those remarks to say we're Americans first before we're Republicans or Democrats, he is absolutely right, and that's what we try to achieve in our work.
Yeah, and he was both parties at various points in his career.
Yes, just such a fascinating individual, and I've heard so many wonderful comments of people that said it was so great to hear Billy, and it was just such a breath of fresh air knowing what we face politically, which is very divisive and dysfunctional in many ways. And he's just a wonderful guy, and we were just so pleased that he could be there with us.
Well, I think the tagline about connecting hometown America says a lot as well, because I think a lot of the answers lie in our local towns and the communities, right?
It really does. And as we work in Washington, it's ironic because in the communications area, all of the key lawmakers, whether you're in the Senate or the House or even in the administration that's talking about infrastructure. We just had Secretary Ross from the Commerce Department talking about broadband. Everybody is talking about how to get more broadband out into smaller markets, rural areas. Well, we're there. We connect hometown America every day, and our message is we are your partner, Washington, D.C. You can rely on us and trust on us. By the same token, as you look to develop and deploy more broadband with other means, that's fine, but just recognize the important contribution that companies have already made and respect that.
Well, one of the things that I think Rich Fickle made the comment about, how the industry's moved from video.
It is broadband. But here's what's interesting, okay? The broadband that we enjoy today, the wires that connect everybody globally with the internet, started from that idea of the very first cable television system where someone put an antenna on a tower on a mountain and ran that cable down to a television. It's the same concept. So these are the same kinds of entrepreneurs that are still doing the same thing that their forefathers did literally 50 or more years before. But it is unique and challenging in these smaller markets compared to other urban markets, and that's why we fight. That's why we're standing the test of time to say, Washington, we matter, and we need you to make sure that you understand and recognize that.
Well, Chairman Pai's tour around the country, I mean, he literally isn't driving it, right?
Oh my gosh, and you know what, that's so great, because we've said this before to lawmakers and regulators. You can't relate to the issues unless you go see it and see how remote in many cases these markets are that our members serve. I mean, I've been in members' markets in New Mexico where they literally have one customer per mile, but they're providing 100 megabits and up broadband service. Amazingly, I can't even imagine how they do it, but they do it. But you would never ever get the sense of the enormous amount of land that they're covering and providing broadband with if you didn't go visit him. So I'm thrilled for him. I hope he does more visits and gives us a call because we have plenty of places we can show him.
Well, and hopefully get some other government officials doing that as well.
Exactly. And I think there is more of an interest. We heard today Mike Hershey stood in for SBA Administrator Linda McMahon. They have 68 district offices in the Small Business Administration. She's already visited with 40 of them. She's going out finding, what are the issues? How can we connect better with smaller businesses? These are good things. And I think it's interesting, too, in this administration where you do have people that have business backgrounds or they have, different perspectives. They're not looking at things at how can we be more regulatory, but they're looking at it to say, what are the problems we need to solve and who do we need to talk to really understand them? And that's different than things that we've seen before. So the fact that, look, Mike O'Reilly is going out to places from the FCC. Brendan Carr was visiting with one of our members, Chantel. I was there when Chairman Pai came to visit Armstrong in Zelienople, Pennsylvania, outside of Pittsburgh. Not far, but it's extremely rural. And we've been other places where we've had members of Congress as well as regulators come to these areas, and it makes such a difference when they take the time to see those areas. So, more the better.
Excellent. Well, Matt, I should let you get to the reception.
No, thank you very much, Ken. Thank you very much. Thanks. Nice to have you here.
Thank you.
Thank you.